with collared valley hooks. Now, Chris don't have a microphone today because he's got a little bit of a cold. But of course, I got mine on. Today, we're going to make Mama Stovetop Fudge. Good old fashioned fudge, the kind that'll turn to sugar if you're not careful. And butter toffee. We're going to do both today live for you guys. I am in the mood for it. And so we're going to get started. First thing we're going to do is start our fudge. And fudge needs to cook slow and low. You don't need to rush it. So we're going to do a couple of things while we're waiting on our fudge. We're going to start with a stick of butter, which is a half cup. And you're just going to let that melt slowly, okay? While you mix up 3 cups of sugar. Let me grab me a tablespoon. And these are old-fashioned recipes, so I'm going to use an old-fashioned tablespoon. It says 3 heaping tablespoons, don't it? Yeah, I'm right. 3 of these. 1, 2, 3. Now, if you don't use these, you ain't going to have as much cocoa. And I guess I could measure that for you, but it should be good and chocolatey, okay? And I just like to mix it up before I start my fudge. That's just something I personally like to do. It's not mandatory, but it helps get the little pieces of cocoa mixed in good. Cocoa makes the biggest mess all over everything. But boy, does it smell good. And I love my Hershey's cocoa as well. That's what I was raised on. So we got this ready. All right, Chris, you can get to my left. So the first thing you're going to do is start with your butter. And it's melted. Let me see how much milk I put in it. A cup of milk. I got to measure it. I wind up using the whole thing before it's over. Typically, I do. So we're going to add our milk. And this is evaporated milk. It's not sweetened condensed milk. It's evaporated milk. And there's usually enough left in there that if you need to thin your fudge up at the end, you can. All right. Now we're going to add, that was a cup of milk to a half stick of butter. And now we're going to add our sugar. No, I did. I said a half stick, but it's a half cup of butter. A stick of butter is a half cup. And it was a stick of butter. I'm sorry. Now we're going to add our sugar and cocoa. And you're going to bring this to a pretty slow boil. You just pour it in there. And while that's coming to a slow boil, let me get it mixed up good. You can use a whisk if you want to. I guess I should have. It would have been quicker. But there ain't no reason to be in no hurry when you make fudge. Boy, I made this chocolatey, didn't I? All right. Now, this is going to have sugar crystals on it. So if you pick it up, you got to rinse all the sugar off of it if you're going to use it again. I'm just going to scrape the side right quick, and we're going to leave it in here with it for now because we're waiting on it to come to a slow boil. I'm going to make sure it's down kind of low, and we're going to go over here and chop up some almonds. All right. So while that's melting that sugar, I'm going to go over here and do this. This is going to be for our toffee. I toasted them whole. And now we're going to chop them. And I'm just going to do it the way I like to do it. I just thought this would be something we could do while we're waiting on that to come to a nice, while the sugar's melting good. I use a mallet, a meat mallet. Where's my meat mallet? The last time I looked for my meat mallet, I couldn't find it. It must be in the drawer over here.
It's in that box.
Oh, it's in the box. No wonder I couldn't find it. And this is loud, y'all. So, but it's my favorite way to do it. And yes, I have a nut chopper, but I just like to do it this way. The chopper gets a whole lot of little bitty tiny pieces. Of course, this does too, really. You gotta turn it over. Well, I hate to close it. My dogs love almonds. They really do. Now I gotta send some of this candy, this toffee candy, with my fruitcakes that got one. And oh, and for those that don't know it, we are giving away some extra small fruitcakes. And today and tomorrow are the only days you can enter the drawing. It's on the giveaway. It's actually not posted on the website. It's actually in a post on Facebook and in the community post on YouTube. And the link is there and you can enter. I'm going to give away 8 small fruitcakes. I just decided to do that yesterday because I made another batch. I don't know. Maybe that wasn't such a bright idea. Maybe I should get out my chopper. I think I got too many in there at one time. Y'all are probably thinking, hey, it's fine. It's perfect. You really want, when you make fudge, not to rush it. It's one of the keys to making good fudge. Good old-fashioned homemade fudge. That is. Maybe these are harder after they're, they must be harder after they're toasted or something. All right, we're just going to have some pretty big pieces on our toffee. Got to have good taste to eat toffee anyway. So you're going to spread out your almonds. And we did this the other day, but we really didn't toast our almonds enough. And it was good anyway, but it's even better when they're toasted good. Nothing as good as a toasted almond with chocolate to me. I love chocolate almond ice cream. Woo, love it. Chocolate almond cake is awesome too. I ought to make one for y'all. I think I made one time. Look at all those little bitty bits. That's going to be ugly on our toffee. I should have got them out of there, but we're going to use it anyway. Unless you want me to get them out of there, Chris, do you? I mean, you can throw them away. The little bitty, you can strain it and not have the little bitty powder pieces, but we're going to have it in ours. Most of the time, if you buy candy, those little bitty powder pieces is what you're getting anyway. Or you can see this is starting to boil real slow, and that's what you want it to do. So I'm just going to take this and stir it just a little bit. It's coming to a nice slow boil, and that's what you want. Okay. Now, the last time we made this, we used milk chocolate chips and we used regular size, and it was just too much chocolate. Today, I'm using semi-sweet mini chocolate chips. And I'm not going to use a ton of them. Just enough to make it delicious. Toffee is so good. Toffee is my favorite. It is absolutely, hands down, my favorite candy at Christmas. To me, it's better than all of it. Pralines, everything. It's my favorite. But I love almonds. I do. Now, my mama made this, and this was my family's favorite. This fudge, homemade fudge. Now that that's come to a slow boil, I'm going to go around the edge. I'm going to turn it up, and we're going to get it to boiling. And you're going to cook this until it's a soft ball stage. And I'll have to rinse that completely off. We're going to turn it up. And you want to cook it pretty high. So when you turn it up, it really starts getting hot quick. It's going to be rolling in a minute. Rolling, rolling. We're going to do a dash of salt in it too. Can't forget the salt. It makes it good. And I do put a dollop of peanut butter in it at the end. And some vanilla. What are you trying to put it in the center?
I mean, yeah, it wasn't
Close to being on it. Now, once it gets hot enough, look, there's a little piece of that cocoa. Once it gets hot enough, I'll brush the edges a little bit. So what you're going to want to do is you're going to want to clean the edges to make sure all the sugar's off of them. And now that it's good and boiling, I'm going to do that with some water. About, I don't know, I have to go look. I think it's about 240. I can look real quick. It takes it about 3 minutes, so we got time. Softball is 240. Pretty good memory. Don't I have a pretty good memory, Daddy? So take you some water on a spatula and make sure that you get the sugar crystals off the sides if there's any there. And then it gets down in there and cooks. I guess I need to check it. $223, $235. Remember, this thing was a little bit hotter than it really was last time. All I'm doing right now is taking water and just going around the edges to make sure there's no sugar crystals on the sides, because you don't want your candy to turn back to sugar once it does come out. It's right at 240. I'm going to take it off, and we're going to do a test right quick in this water and see if it's really softball stage. And it's not. I think that thing is a little bit, I think it is about 10 degrees off. Now that I know I've got that right, let me get me some new water. Mama just used water instead of a thermometer, and it's up to you how you want to do it. It's saying 240, 242, 244. Check it down. What in the world was that? I must have picked up that piece of cocoa. Okay, when I drop this in the water, you want it to form into a soft, it's not quite there, ball. $248. I'm gonna get it out at $250. All right, it's ready. Most of the time I overcook it anyway. We'll be careful. All right, I normally put this in my mixer and mix it up, but today we're gonna do it this way. And I don't typically scrape too much because you just want to make sure you don't get any sugar that might have had some leftovers. And I go ahead and run water in my pot so that it's not quite as hard to clean. All right, now at this point, we are going to beat it. Fudge is harder to make than toffee, okay? I'll just go ahead and tell you, if you're making homemade fudge like this, it's a little harder to make. Toffee to me is very easy. This is the peanut butter. We just put a good dollop in there. I add a little bit of vanilla. And we're going to add some nuts to it once it starts setting up. I've got some toasted pecans to add to it that are cracked. This is pretty hot to be sitting on my counter, I was thinking. Let me get my cat. It's a cat that's this, y'all, not a real cat.
Tell them where they can
Find what? The recipes? Oh, the chocolate fudge is in our second cookbook, and the butter toffee is in our third cookbook. And you can find them online as well at coloredvalleycooks.com. Chris is telling me, I guess somebody's asking. So if you go to www.collard, C-O-L-L-A-R-D, Valley, V-A-L-L-E-Y, cooks.com, you will find my cookbooks, the giveaways, everything. Now, you could put this in a stand mixer and beat it, or you can do it this way, however you want to do it. I just thought that I wanted to do it so that y'all could see it better. All right, we're going to add our nuts. Now, my mama added parched peanuts most of the time because that's what Daddy liked. But now Mama liked pecans better in hers. So if Mama were here, I think I'm going to put a little extra peanut butter in it because it's so dark chocolate. I really gave it a lot of chocolate today. It's starting to set up, so I got to get me out a pan right quick to put it in. And now that is old-fashioned fudge, y'all. Just like Mama made. Good stuff. Let me get me some butter. we're going to butter our pan. Mama always buttered it. And that way, when you took the fudge out, it tasted like butter. We use a brownie pan. This is my biscuit pan. It's a 7x11. And it's my favorite biscuit pan. I use it for my fudge. And
Do you have to add the peanut butter?
you don't have to add the peanut butter, but Mama always did. She said it helped it set up. So, I mean, you could try to do it without it. It should work. But, I mean, this fudge is awesome. I mean, it is awesome. When I say it's awesome, I mean it's awesome. It's setting up perfect. Y'all, we did it. Usually when I make this live, I wind up overcooking it because it's so hard. The hardest thing about candy is timing. So when this stuff gets the right temperature, you got to take it off the heat immediately. If you don't, and it gets overcooked, it's going to get dry. But you can, to keep it from getting dry, you can add a little milk to it, a little of your evaporated milk, and that helps it too. Now, this will sit here and continue to set up while we're making our butter toffee, and I'm hoping that I'll be able to show you guys a piece of fudge. And let me get something and make it pretty on the top. I got to hurry before it sets all the way up or it's not going to work. And of course, this is optional. Let me butter it. That'd work good. Make it pretty. Oh, I don't think it's going to matter if I butter it. Oh, it didn't work. I waited too late. Here, I'm going to do this. We're going to make it pretty. I'm determined. I'm just taking a little of this butter and melting it so that I can design the top. Where there's a will, there's a way. Remember that. Never give up. Mama always said, where there's a will, there's a way. That was always my motto growing up. I'll melt. I just wanted to make you pretty. Well, halfway. We're halfway there. What matters is it tastes good. Oh, heavenly. It really is. The best ever. Now we're going to start our toffee. I'm going to double the actual candy part. Oh my gosh, that's good fudge. Perfect. Absolutely perfect. I'm so proud. Okay, we didn't do the dash of salt in it, but that's all right. See, I always forget something when I'm live. Okay, butter toffee. You're going to use, it's really easy. 2 sticks of butter, a cup of sugar, and cold water. So this is going to be 4 sticks of butter. I'm going to need some more butter. Let me grab 2 more sticks of butter, y'all. But I'm giving some of this away to you guys, and so I need to make a lot. So that's why I was going to double it.
2 cups of sugar.
Yeah, I was just reading the recipe at that point. Not a double recipe. So 1 recipe is 2 sticks of butter. We're using 4 because we're doubling it. So it's just like the fudge. You're going to melt your butter. I'm adding the 2 cold sticks first. because I got 2 right here at room temperature. Toffee is very buttery. It's more buttery than our peanut brittle even. But now the butter really gets incorporated in there, and so it's not a real greasy candy or anything. My peanut brittle is pretty greasy, I have to say, but it's delicious. It's not greasy, it's buttery. So you're going to add this. All you do with this then is you use 3 tablespoons of cold water, which we're going to be using 6, which is really a 1/4 cup. So I'm going to go ahead and get a 1/4 cup out of cold water. I guess I'll, yeah, while y'all watch that butter. I don't really know why you got to have cold water, but I always follow these directions. They're the ones I've always had. All right. And then you got 2 cups of sugar because we're doubling it. Make sure you get extra fine sugar to make these candies with. Don't get, big, thick pieces of sugar, or it's more prone to turn back to sugar because of what you're working with. Now you're going to add your water. This is so easy. To me, toffee is the easiest candy. And then we're going to stir that up. I got to get me something clean to do it. I've used everything. I know, but they're little. I got a pretty big recipe going on there. All right. Make sure and dry this. You don't want to mess your candy up at all. And pour it. A lot of butter in there. It's $4 worth of butter. So you're going to mix this up, and you're going to bring it to a boil. I'm going to go ahead and turn it up just a little bit. And then you're going to cook this pretty much until it starts turning golden. It says you're going to cook it to the soft crack stage. We got a long way to go before we get there. But now this goes quicker than fudge because you don't have to be as slow with it. As turtle slow. I'm telling you, the slower you are with fudge, the better off you are. If you're making it homemade like that. Now, there are some fudge recipes that have some Karo syrup in them. Matter of fact, this one does, don't it? No? It's the peanut brittle that does. What was I looking for? Oh, soft crack stage. Soft crack stage is 282-ish. Hard cracks 320. And really and truly for toffee, to me, I don't think it makes any difference. I mean, you want it hard. It's got to form a string because it's got to get crunchy like candy. The biggest difference in this and peanut brittle is that peanut brittle uses Karo syrup and peanut brittle uses soda at the end and salt, and this does not. Now, I'm using salted butter because everything's better to me with salted butter. Everything. So the butter's just now starting to get completely melted. And once that butter's completely melted, I'm going to turn it up. Turn this puppy up. It's going to be a while before we need that crisp, but I do want to get me those little spatulas to scrape the sides with. So when you're making this candy, make sure you've got your almonds. If y'all are just now coming on, with this candy, you've got to lay out almonds that are toasted and chopped and some chocolate of some sort. We used larger morsels last time, and it was too chocolatey. I didn't like it as much. It was just overpowered with the chocolate. This time we're using mini semi-sweet chips. And so it shouldn't take a lot to give you that chocolatey kick And Lord knows the toffee's sweet enough, so I think the semi-sweet's going to be really good. I'm going to stir it. That butter still hadn't completely melted. Isn't that crazy? But it hadn't completely melted yet. Now, I will say this, with this candy, it will separate. If for some reason you get something extra in it, this is not one you need to, you know, I don't know how to describe it, but I've had it separate before. Pay attention to it and stir it. So what you're doing is you don't just leave this on the stove and let it boil. You want to stir it to incorporate the butter into the sugar. Okay. And as you see, the more I stir it, the creamier it starts to look and color. And I think that matters. Okay. So just continue to stir it. Now, when this starts turning a golden brown, that's when you know it's ready to pour up. It's just like the peanut brittle. I mean, you really don't have to have a thermometer. I'm not kidding. You just need to watch it. And once it starts getting dark, and I mean, once it starts, it goes quick. Don't it, Chris? Once it starts getting dark, it goes pretty quick. Now, I'm going to just go around the edge to make sure.
I didn't stir mine last time till the end, I don't think.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Well, I mean, just make sure you got your big tall spoon if you're going to stir it. Now, at this point, I'm going to take it out just in case there might be a piece of sugar way up high on it or something. You don't want to use the same spoon forever unless you clean it and bring it back over here, which I'll do right quick. Y'all just watch it. Chris can check it with the gun while y'all are watching, while I'm washing. How's it looking, Chris?
240.
245. Got a little while to go. So it's really about soft ball stage at this point, which makes a creamy fudgy candy. Okay, but we want we want it to form a string and crack like candy. Okay, it says soft crack stage, but really and truly, you want it to form a string. When you pick it up and you watch it on your spoon, you can also look at fudge this way as well. This is, let me see what temp is. 254. This is just now getting to the soft ball stage. So look at it on the spoon. Kind of give you an idea of what it's going to look like. But we're going to want it to be candy. So we're going to want it to form a string. And it's not going to do that, y'all. I'm going to turn it up. It's not going to do that until it starts turning brown.
Does the gun register different from the edge in the middle?
Probably. 255, 256. That one said 287. I think I must have got it on the, you can't let it touch the 277, 255. You can't let it touch like the edge of the, like that's 307. You can't get too close to the edge because it'll read, it's a laser and it might read it through into the pan, if that makes sense. So you really do need to just do it in the middle. It's 263 at this point. Chris is handing me my mittens because I'm going to tell you, once this stuff gets ready, you got to pour it up. And if you got a pan like this, these handles get super hot. Don't pick it up after you've been cooking in it without
Do you want to put
gloves
that pan
on
something?
We can sit it right here next to it. But it, like I said, it's going to turn golden before it's time to pour up. 273. It's at 273, y'all. So I said 280-ish, I think. That's what I said.
A little over 2.
Now you're going to start seeing it turn golden. I'm not kidding y'all. This is the easiest candy. If you want to make something good, this is it. It's easy and it's delicious. Absolutely delicious. All right, it's starting to get a little bit golden. 287. I'm not going to pick it up and pour it till it's gold. Just let it cook a minute. It's starting to go. See, that's the way the peanut brittle is, y'all. You want it to turn pretty in color before you pick it up. So you really don't need a thermometer to do that. That's why I like to tell y'all that. You see that color? It just needs a little bit more. And it's going to be ready. All right, it's ready. All right, stir it. Here we go. Pour it. Make sure you got on these gloves. Good Lord, this stuff is good.
And that non-stick pan, tell them to use it.
Oh, yeah. If you use a non-stick like this, you can see how it just comes right out of it. It's so easy. I didn't make my fudge in non-stick. I made my fudge in a regular stainless steel. So, I mean, you can do it however you want to do it, but let's cut a piece of fudge and see how it looks. I should be able to cut a piece. You want me to go put that out there and let it cool? I don't know how cold it is outside. How cold is it outside? It's not today?
You can put it in the freezer.
If y'all want to see a cracked piece, I got to go stick this in the freezer right quick. Okay. I wanted to put it on that ice, but it would have melted the ice thing. You know, the bag the ice was in. It was so hot. All right, so we're going to cut us a piece of fudge. And there it is. You can see how the butter looks on the bottom when you line it in butter. Got the toasted pecans in it. Now, if you make fudge like this, and you make it right, it's going to be creamy and delicious. If you get one sugar crystal in it, it's going to turn right back to sugar. My granny made fudge every year, and when you went to get a piece, it was hard as a rock, and it was like chewing sugar because she never got it right. But now that's how the kids were used to it, so they liked it. Y'all can tell me if your granny made fudge and whether or not hers was sugar-like. And really and truly, that's what you get used to as a kid. So if your mama made it and it tasted kind of sugary, that's what you like. But now this is more creamy. It's delicious. And it's real chocolatey. Chris will like it. You want to taste it, Chris? Ain't it?
Mm-hmm.
Can you still taste the peanut butter?
Just barely.
He can barely taste the peanut butter because it is so chocolatey. Okay. So you can put less chocolate in it if you want a milk chocolate fudge, more in it if you want a darker chocolate. If you had just used a regular tablespoon and done a heaping, like a measurement, which is what I normally do, it wouldn't have been this chocolatey. But because I really gave it a lot of cocoa, it's a real pretty dark fudge. Okay. And it's good. Perfect. Now you can flip it out to cut it and just, like they do at the store, if you want to. I don't think I got anything to flip it out on. I can look. The only thing I got that I could flip it out on is this. I started doing Christmas cards today. Y'all got stuff everywhere. When it's Christmas here, everything is just wild. Because I do a lot of cooking. I do the fruit cakes. I mail a lot of stuff. And I do a lot of cards. I've been working on cards all day. So if y'all want to send me a Christmas card, please do. I love them. All right. Well, I say I can get it out. I guess I could have. I don't know that I can get that out. I usually don't flip it out, y'all. Really and truly, if you're going to flip it out, you should have lined it with some parchment. I can try to. Let me loosen up the sides for y'all. I can do it just for y'all because I love you so much. There it goes. There's our fudge. Oh, it's good. And then you can just cut it however you want to. One side's thicker than the other. Now, the good thing about fudge is it don't take a whole lot of it. It's rich.
How do you store it until Christmas?
Oh, in an airtight container.
They don't know. You have to tell them.
Oh, Chris is reminding me to tell y'all how to store it. We just store it in an airtight container. Of course, you need to let it cool all the way. And just put it in like, an airtight Rubbermaid type container and store it. You can put it in the refrigerator, but I wouldn't. There ain't no reason to refrigerate it. It's candy. Okay. Let's go get our toffee out of the freezer and see if we can crack a piece yet. Let him see that up close, Chris. think we should give it just about 3 or 4 more minutes, y'all. So tell me if your mama made this kind of fudge, the old kind that you cook on the stove. There's not many people that make this kind of fudge anymore. Most people make a 5-minute fudge where you just melt the chocolate chips, or you use marshmallows, or you use marshmallow cream. A lot of people even use cheese to make their fudge. There's very few people that still make an old-fashioned fudge like this. What is it, Chris? Oh, I thought you wanted me to do something or say something. Does anybody have anything to say while we're waiting on our candy? No? Can you see comments, Chris? Yeah. Okay. All right, I'll go get it. Now remember, this is still hot. I mean, it's still hot on the bottom. But I just want to show you that it will crack and get hard, but it's actually still hot to touch even. So the coolest piece is going to be right here on the edge. And it's still going to probably look chewy, but it's really not going to be chewy. I don't want to mess it up.
They asked if your shingles were okay.
Yes. Y'all, I really don't think I had shingles. Let me talk to them. I told y'all I might have shingles back on my back. I don't think it was shingles. I don't know what it was. It was not eczema. I have not used anything in the detergent. I really don't know for sure what it was. So if it comes back again, I'm going to go to the dermatologist. But see, this part is hard as raw, hard like candy. See? It's just so good, y'all. Chris's was a lot darker than this, wasn't it?
No, it's about.
Was it about this color?
Well, I didn't stir it.
I know.
Until the very end.
Yeah.
So I think the bottom part got done more.
Okay. I see what you mean. Chris didn't stir his like I did. So all the dark part on the bottom, mixed in with it, and his looked darker than mine. But don't pour it up until it's changed color, okay? Because then it's going to be hard like candy. And nothing's better to me than this. This is my favorite candy, hands down, my favorite. My family's favorite is the fudge, you see. But this is my favorite. I like it better than pralines, better than divinity. I mean, I make all the candies. I make divinity. I make pralines. You name it, I make it. The peanut butter, potato candy. A lot of people want to see me make pulled candy. And that's just something I have never been a big fan of. I know a lot of y'all like it. It's real creamy. To me, it has the texture of like a buttermint. Do y'all know what I'm talking about? And it's like a light brown color. But it's just not something that I enjoy eating, so I don't really want to make it, if that makes sense.
You can show them your peanut brittle.
Oh, I make peanut brittle. Oh, yeah. Most of y'all seen me make the peanut brittle the other day. And here it is. See, they're about the same color. And I love peanut brittle too. I love peanuts and chocolate as well. And these are the fruit cakes that I made yesterday. I made 12 of these yesterday. So I've been cooking and it's a mess in here. but it's lived in. I hope y'all have enjoyed watching Colored Valley Cooks make old-fashioned candy just like Mama did. Plain old ingredients, just like it was back, Lord, probably in the, I'm sure in the early 1900s, this candy could be made because there's nothing in it but sugar, water, and butter. And then the fudge, it's sugar, cocoa, evaporated milk, and you can use regular milk, peanut butter, vanilla. I mean, they're just simple ingredients. Y'all have a wonderful day, and we will see you next time on Colored Valley Cooks, where we cook like our mamas did. Bye, y'all. Love ya.